Mia had been talking about her company's annual gala for weeks, almost breathless every time she described it. She kept saying it was a chance to grow, to finally prove herself, to show everyone that she belonged in the room. I believed her. I supported her. I ironed my shirt, put on the suit she always said made me look put together, and walked into that grand hotel ballroom expecting a night of recognition and pride, her night. But the moment Daniel, her boss, stepped through those doors, I saw her shift as if someone had flipped a switch behind her ribs. Her shoulders straightened so quickly it looked rehearsed. Her voice softened into something almost musical, and the way her eyes lit up, bright, hungry, excited, that wasn't the look she'd given me for a long time. She drifted toward him without hesitation, like she'd been waiting for that very moment, leaving me mid-sentence with one of her coworkers who awkwardly trailed off as she disappeared. From where I stood, I saw her push her hair behind her ear in that nervous but pleased way she used to do on our first dates. I saw her lean in too close, tilt her head too eagerly, and laugh at everything he said, not just politely, but loudly, desperately, with a sound that was more performance than amusement. Something in my gut twisted, heavy and sharp. This wasn't networking. This wasn't confidence. This was attention-seeking, directed at a man who wasn't wearing her ring. As the night went on, her behavior only grew clearer. I noticed her placing her hand lightly on Daniel's arm every time she spoke to him, as if she needed the physical contact to anchor their conversation. He leaned down and whispered something to her, and she giggled, actually giggled, while tapping his chest with 2 fingers. That tap said more than words ever could. People noticed. They always do. A woman across the room glanced at me with an expression that felt like pity and apology blended together. One of Mia's co-workers murmured under his breath, "Man, that sucks," before pretending he hadn't said anything. I swallowed the burning lump in my throat and forced myself to stay calm. If I made a scene, Mia would later accuse me of ruining her big night. But then Daniel slipped his hand around her lower back, and left it there. She didn't move away. She didn't even flinch. They stood close, too close, like the room around them had dissolved. I knew I had to do something, but not angrily, not with shouting, because anger would let her flip the story. So I waited until their conversation paused, then walked up with a calm so cold it could cut glass. I leaned in slightly and asked, in a soft, steady voice, "Mia, does he know you're married?" The entire mood shattered. Mia went rigid, her smile collapsing. Daniel blinked and stepped back, confused. A hush spread through the circle of coworkers, all of them pretending they weren't listening while clearly hearing every syllable. "Married?" Daniel repeated slowly. "I thought you said you had a partner." Partner. Not husband. Not spouse. A conveniently vague word that let her appear available while technically not lying. The sting of it hit me like a punch. Mia's face drained of color. I didn't mean it like that," she whispered, but her eyes told the truth she couldn't say out loud. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just asked the next question even softer than the first, letting the silence around us amplify it. "Is this how you act at work when I'm not around?" That one landed harder than anything else I'd said. Her eyes darted around the room, finally realizing how many people were watching. Daniel quietly excused himself and faded into the crowd like a man who just realized he'd been dancing on thin ice. Mia grabbed my arm. "Baby, it was nothing. You're blowing this out of proportion." I gently pulled my arm back. For years she mistook my patience for weakness, thought she could push boundaries because I'd never push back. But tonight, she was discovering a version of me she had forgotten existed. "It's just normal office banter," she insisted. "Everyone jokes with their boss." "There's a difference," I said quietly, "between joking and acting single." Her makeup couldn't hide the panic in her eyes. She knew she'd been caught, not by accident, but by her own choices. And the room had gone silent, everyone pretending to sip drinks while watching every second of the fallout. I didn't argue further. I just turned and walked out. She hurried behind me into the empty hallway, her heels clicking frantically against the marble. "Wait. Please stop," she called. I turned around. Her hands were trembling. You're overreacting, she insisted. I was just trying to impress him. Everyone flirts with their boss a little. I stared at her, feeling something in me settle into place. Impress him for what, Mia? A promotion or his attention? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her eyes dropped to the carpet. That silence, that inability to answer, was the clearest confession she could ever give. Finally, she whispered, I just wanted to feel confident. You don't compliment me anymore. So that was her explanation. Not remorse, not accountability, blame. Redirect. Excuse. I stepped closer. Confidence built on disrespect isn't confidence. It's desperation. Her lips trembled. I didn't mean to hurt you. I shook my head. Maybe not. But you didn't think about me at all tonight. You thought about how he looked at you. Through the glass doors behind her, I could still see people whispering, still glancing into the hallway. She hated public humiliation, but this time she had done it to herself. I didn't have to raise my voice. Her own behavior had already delivered the blow. Let's go home, she pleaded. We can talk there. 4 years together, and she still thought I would fold just because she cried. That kindness automatically meant forgiveness. That loyalty meant blindness. I'm going home, I said softly. You stay. You seem to be enjoying the attention. The guilt on her face was unmistakable. She grabbed my hand desperately. Please don't leave me here, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. The confident, flirtatious woman from moments earlier was gone. In her place stood someone small, shaken, stripped of every illusion she'd wrapped herself in. Mia, I said calmly, I didn't embarrass you tonight. You did that yourself. She broke down right there in the hallway, mascara running down her cheeks, hands shaking so violently she had to steady herself against the wall. Her entire image, her confidence, her charm, her ego, cracked in one night. And all it took was a single, simple question. Does he know you're married? That moment changed everything. After that night, she stopped flirting at work. She stopped hiding her ring. She stopped pretending her marriage was something she could take off whenever she wanted. Because she learned something she never expected. The quietest man in the room is the one you should never take for granted. And I made sure she never forgot it.